Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Miguel, and I'm back at you with another video, but this time we're switching it up a little bit. I've got the man, Adam Stone.
Small to ego, man. Don't tell about it. We can't go there.
Hayden Bowles, Shopify extraordinaire, complete expert, massive backflipper, owner of M4, and
single M4.
And he's on here to talk about something that's a little different. We're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to talk about mindset in general. But before we actually get into that, maybe introduce yourself, say like your background and what it is that you do with a little more detail.
For sure. So my name's Hayden Bowles. I'm an 18-year-old entrepreneur. I've done a good amount of stuff just over the last few years, really started exponentially growing, just not only from a financial standpoint, but, mindset, having different shifts, being able to do different things over the last few years. To take it way back, I started day trading stocks when I was about 12 years old, did that up until I was 15. In the next year and a half window, I learned how to build Instagram influencer pages, which got me millions and millions of followers across all these different pages. Took that into affiliate marketing, and then took those two skills kind of combined, got into e-commerce, and that's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. That's where I've found my passion. That's where I've scaled my businesses, my incomes, and the brands that I've built, and now the clients I work with. So through that, been able to obviously do a lot of fun stuff. He's out here chilling at my new spot in Newport Beach. Just spent the last 4 months traveling to 8 different countries, bought one of my dream cars, so it's been fun.
Sounds like it's been a pretty lit time, and this place is pretty sick. You're definitely credible. There's no question about that. And what's most inspiring about your entire story is the fact that you're 18, and just talking to you the past few days, getting to know you, your story's incredible. You've been about this whole entrepreneurial life since you were 12.
Fucking for years, bro.
So I'm curious, what is it that has you just grinding that hard? And because I'm curious, if anyone can potentially extract that value and be able to apply that to their own lives.
Yeah, I think one thing I noticed is that it's different for every person. And as weird as that sounds, a lot of people might say that you're blah, blah, blah. Well, what is it for me? My parents were actually in town. That's why I spent, today, obviously he knows. My parents, haven't seen them in a few months. And they came down to California, came to visit. And so, we were out paddleboarding and stuff. I showed them the community around here and, where we're at. And I talked to them. And, obviously they always jump to the subject of how I'm doing, money, business, and whatever. And, I'm someone who likes to stay extremely low key. I really don't want to share anything. That's just not my personality type anymore. I sort of evolved out of that. Obviously when the money first came, I was kind of yo, 30 bands from the bank, what's up, talking? Yo, 30 bands from the bank, what's up, talking? Yo, 30 bands from the bank, what's up, talking? Whatever. You scratch that itch and you get over that phase. So the problem is now, I forgot to mention about the whole journey. I've been doing YouTube along the way for a little bit and posting on there for about 8 to 10 months or so, and Instagram. And by somehow they figured out how to use those platforms. So now they've stalked me on there. And I was talking to them, they're talking about obviously the whole thing, money isn't everything, and it's not. But you have to focus on it at some point to get your money right? Secure your bag. And one thing that stuck out to me, and I pointed it out to them because I never told them this, my dad's a pilot. He works for the airline. A lot of the time he's on call. When they call, he goes. He has to be at the airport within 2 hours. So he's got to stay within a range for the airport. And one thing that really stuck out to me, I mentioned this to them today, which was really interesting and kind of emotional. I remember specifically one time where my dad, he loves flying, first of all. Loves his job. It's what he's wanted to do. But at the end of the day, still there's certain situations that you might not like. So as he went out to the movies with my mom, we're at home, us kids, and it's when I'm probably 16, maybe 15, getting into the entrepreneur stuff pretty heavy. So I kind of noticed this. I don't think my brother or sister did. Right when my dad's butt touched the seat, he told me this. Immediately at the movie theater, he got a call and had to go. That one simple thing resonated with me so much, of him not being able to enjoy a 2-hour movie with his wife. Does he like flying? I'm sure he does. Does he like making money? I'm sure he does. But he could have turned it down. He didn't because it was such a good financial deal, which so you shouldn't have to have that financial tie later. I'm sure he would have enjoyed spending time with his family, which he could have if he wanted to, but to that degree. So different situations for me. My parents, I didn't grow up poor, didn't grow up rich, but I still saw that and I'm this is not the goal. Everybody viewed what my parents had as the goal and I'm this would suck. And that might sound douchey or whatever, but I wanted a different structure. So I simply went out and did it. That's it. I'm doing it.
So for you, it's about freedom when it comes to like, why are you doing it? It's you want the freedom, you want the choice, you want the capability of living life on your terms.
Exactly. That's why I dropped out of high school in 10th grade. I moved out of home when I was 17. All throughout 16, I was barely at home, traveling, spent a month and a half with Miami. Met a lot of cool people, a lot of different entrepreneurs, different rappers who are massive in the game now, and it's better. Yeah, you already know about that. But some really cool experiences. So I got to not only see different cultures. I was just traveling inside of the U.S., never outside. But then being able to meet a lot of people, kind of figure out where I want to live, learned a lot, made so many mistakes, but only positive comes out of that. I like to see the positive light in that. So then, moved out to LA when I was 17. I had already bought my car. I shipped it out there. That was a crazy journey in itself. Decided like 2 months after I was there, I was looking for a house with a buddy. Didn't, see anything we loved up in the Hollywood Hills, Beverly Hills area. So said, screw it, let's go travel. After booking so many one-way flights, we're like, shit, it's been 3.5 months so far. We went to 8 countries or whatever. I was in Mexico. I came actually and surprised my family during spring break, which is kind of right when I left. Then went to China, Bali, Thailand, Malaysia, Russia, Prague in the Czech Republic, Amsterdam. Like we went around. And so, spent like a month in different locations, a week, a couple of days, whatever. And it was a really cool experience to just be able to do that. And at the same time, work and have nothing affected, based on what I was doing. That for me was like, okay, slowly but surely on the right path.
It's definitely powerful being able to live your life, go to all these different places, have all these different experiences, and still be able to make money all in the same process. Yeah,
and really do those things that like help me lead into my goals and progress. Like I'm sure if I told my parents, yo, I'm spending $25,000 a year to go to these seminars, for like a little coaching package, or $10,000 on a course, $5,000 to talk to someone on the phone for an hour, they'd be like, what the hell are you doing? But that's my choice. It's my money. I made it, and I only obviously invest in things and spend my money in things that I see value in. Very, very plain and simple. So that's kind of been the structure so far. I know a lot of you might be watching, you're maybe not into business. That's totally fine. If you're trying to first get into it, first of all, it's going to take you time. Accept that. I always strived for things very quick. And I know we talked about this. I was always like quick, just action. My biggest thing, I wanted to be able to custom build my own Ferrari 458 Spider when I was 16 for my 16th birthday. And I wanted that since I was like 14. So trading stocks and working for that, constantly manifesting it with, the custom configurations and whatnot. I might not have hit that goal. I didn't. I couldn't have done it. However, still got me a nice M4 at 17. And I was going to get the Lambo for my 18th birthday just a few months after, which, again, is not a problem. It's just more of a money mindset thing of where you want to spend your money. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of an interesting situation. I believe that everything is something a mentor told me. Everything you want in life, you can most likely have. It's just going to take you a little bit longer than you expected. So if you set your goal here, it might take you a little bit longer and it'll be a little bit less, but you're still in a good position. So aim high, but you got to work high too.
Okay. One question that I think is going to be incredibly valuable, and I'm really curious about your answer. You're 18, bro. Mm-hmm. And majority of your followers are around the age when you were like starting, when you were trying to get a lot of things done.
Yeah, and a lot of my followers too, which is interesting, are like 25 to 35, I've found. So it's interesting to see the age, but it's all over, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, what's the differentiating factor when it comes to you, when it comes to Splashman, when it comes to me? What is it? What is it that's different that you're doing from a mental standpoint, from the actions that you're taking, that's actually resulting in success? Because a lot of other people are trying, like all of your followers are trying, all of your subscribers are trying.
It's how you view things. So I'm going to say one thing that might be controversial, and I'm going to have to explain this after I say it. But we're the ones creating this content right now. You're the one watching. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch content. We watch content all day long. So as long as you're not just doing that, and if you don't know what to do, you should spend all your time listening to podcasts, watching videos, and reading books. But once you figure out one thing that interests you, that you think might work or make you money, you need to really focus in on that and only watch stuff from high-level people you know are doing really well in that, just on that. So that's kind of like, create versus consume, which is fine. We consume a ton of content. I still do. That's how you progress, to the next level in whatever you're doing, or even a whole new thing. So from a mental standpoint, it's kind of how I see things. I realized, from an early age, like, okay, this is how my parents had their life structured. I figured out, their financial situation, like, I was always curious about that stuff. So I just, was very observant. I looked at that. And then I started seeing everything with the school system, like the way the teachers would phrase things. I would pick up on that. And it really started to piss me off for years. So, and this is back when I was like 14. And so I really just started seeing all of this, and it just kind of compiled into, you know, where I've shifted. And I've had massive mental shifts where I understand money, and I was like, you know, screw it, I'm going to go get a Wraith. I'm going to go get a brand new Ferrari or whatever. Like, financially, it's, you know, is it a big deal or not? Depends on how you look at it. But once you switch into that money mindset, which you're going to have multiple shifts on kind of where you're at in that, which I've had one recently, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I would have expected myself to have another car by now. Financially speaking, could I theoretically go and do it? Sure, I could go get 10 of them. But it's like, is that really the best move? You know, is that what actually interests me? And you also have to ask yourself, why do you want it? You know, why? First of all, why do you want this life as an entrepreneur? It's not all fun. It's not all giggles. You know, it's actually very difficult. I've had more, and I don't know about yourself, I've had more negatives and more low points when I was up financially. So it's kind of interesting just to see that, like, you know, I've talked to a lot of my entrepreneur friends, like, there's certain moments that feel empty or kind of, you know, a little bit of a disappointment just based on, you know, situation. So it's interesting to see nothing's ever as it is pictured, but you just have to ask yourself that deeper question. Why do you want that life? Why do you want to run the business? Why do you want to drop out of school? Why do you want that car? Is it a great experience and you respect it and it's like a piece of art? Or do you want that car because other people will see you in that car? You're going to post the car on social media. You know, I post it on social media to inspire people, and that might sound stupid, but I barely post my car. Like, I should probably start using it for clickbait. I mean, shit, it's a gold M4, but that's not why I have the car. That was a great thing in the beginning. I showed it on Snapchat and whatnot, but you evolve out of that. So if there was nobody left on Earth, would you still want that car? I would. It's fun. So
okay, that's super powerful, man.
There's a lot. I know.
That's super powerful. And like, and bouncing off of that point where you were talking about how a lot of low points come from after having money, it immediately made me think about the whole Dan Bilzerian interview where he's talking about how money can be in a bottomless pit. Yeah, like, and what I've noticed is that, like, even when the money comes, like, you're still the same person. Like, you still have everything around you tends to be the exact same.
It just amplifies.
Exactly. So is there anything that you would like to end off on that you felt like should have been spoken about that we didn't exactly get to?
Yeah, I'm going to give you something that should have been spoken about by your parents in school, anything. This is something I personally believe you can agree with or disagree. When it comes to money, talking about this stuff, people get upset. My parents will get upset. Anyone will get upset. You know, you shouldn't talk about money. You shouldn't share this. Why not? Why not? If you say it's not important, you say it's not everything, but you're doing something, hopefully, you know, that you like doing, but a lot of people do stuff they don't really like doing. 8 hours a day, every day, 5 days a week, you know, minus 2 weeks that they have off during the year for one sole purpose, for money. I believe it's totally okay to be talked about. And for you younger people out there, even if you're older, if you don't have your money right, focus in on that one thing. I literally did not, can I swear on here?
Yeah, go for it.
I did not give 2 fucks about anything else in life for 4 years except moving to Los Angeles. Like, I talked to my parents about that today. They're like, yeah, we noticed. And I'm like, of course you did. I did not care about anything. I lived in the same house as them, and I would go multiple days without talking to them because I would just be in my room. I didn't care about anything else. And again, I was working in there, like not playing video games and stuff. So figuring that out, I was just like, it's okay to have that imbalance. And I know I mentioned this to you and a few people and stuff. You have to have imbalance. This is something I believe. You need imbalance if you want to create balance eventually. So I had heavy imbalance. Now I have balance. I'm actually about to go into the imbalance phase again, which is fine as long as you have the right perspective and structure on it to then create the next level of balance. You know, where I'm at, I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied, I need to move up. So progress. You know, I'm not going to be happy until I reach my potential. So
there you go, man. Progression is everything, and mindset plays a big part. My man Hayden has one of the greatest mindsets that I've ever seen. I wish you guys could see the amount of like affirmations that are surrounded by us on these walls.
Top secret.
So, man, I appreciate you for being on the video,
course,
man.
Bro.
Dude, until next time, like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back at you soon enough.
Boom.
Peace.